In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the material loader tool that comes with the jewelry kit that I make for Rhino. So we'll just click on that icon and we'll get the material loader window. There are several types of materials that you can choose from: enamel, gem, metal, pearl, and plastic. And we will look at all of these and see what they look like. Some of these materials types have subtypes. So for instance, gem has 3 different subtypes: opaque, realistic, and stylized. And we'll go over all of those as well. Okay, so we'll start off with enamel, and we can you can multi-select, so you can just choose one and load that if you want. So you can click on one material and click load, or you can hold down Control and click several of them. You can also click on one and then hold down Shift and click on one, and it will fill them all in between there. So we'll just do green and red, and we'll click on load. Now, you may well typically be in the layers tab, so when you click load, you won't see the materials load, but you will get a notice saying that they have loaded. Okay. Now you can select all you want within that one type. Then you have to go ahead and click load before changing to a different type. If you want to see the materials, you need to go over to the material tab over here. You can see we've got green enamel and red enamel. And if you don't have the materials tab, you can click on this little gear icon right here, click on show panels, and then just come down and make sure there's a check mark by materials here. Okay. Once you have the tab in, you can click and drag it anywhere in the order of tabs along the side panel here. Now you can leave this like this. Right now the materials are in grid. I like them like this, so you can see the whole name of the materials. But you can do grid or tree or list. So I prefer the list style. Okay, if you have the materials tab open and you go to a material, you can actually watch it load in. So we'll load in polished white metal and polished yellow metal. Okay, we get our notification here, but we can also see the materials over here now. All right, we will load in a couple of gem materials as well. So there's 3 subcategories or 3 subtypes: opaque, realistic, and stylized. And we'll load in a couple examples of each of those. So we'll do one opaque, we'll do turquoise, and then we'll do realistic. We'll do maybe diamond and maybe ruby. And then we'll do stylized. I think once again we'll do diamond and ruby. Okay, and so it gets to where you can't see all the materials, and that's just a limitation of how this works over here. Under grid, we might be able to see them all, but then you can't see the whole name. So I'm going to keep it on list, and we'll go ahead and load in a couple more. We'll load in a pearl. So we'll do a white pearl, which is a pretty common pearl color. If we scroll down, you can see we now have the pearl one, and we'll do, I'll just show you plastic. Yeah, we'll load in a couple of plastics. So I've got plastic gems and I've got plastic metal. Most of you will probably never use the plastic materials, but they're there for very stylized renders if you want them. We'll do sapphire, plastic sapphire, and we will do plastic metal. So we'll do polished white metal, okay, or polished yellow metal. We'll do that. Okay, so we've got a bunch of materials loaded in now, and they're ready to be applied to the scene. We'll go into rendered mode, so we'll click down here and click on rendered. Rendered is going to let you kind of preview what it would look like rendered. There is another format called ray traced. and we'll go over that as well. So rendered is almost kind of like a game engine style of rendering. It's not hyper realistic. It's close, but not exact. All right, so we'll look at the enamel material over here on the sphere. So this is what green enamel looks like, and red enamel looks like that. So you just drag these materials over on to the different things. If you see this happen, you can just like switch to grid and then switch back to list to correct that. That's something in Rhino that's not part of my kit that's causing that. So Pearl will do that on the sphere as well, so you can see what a pearl material looks like. All right. And now I'm going to go ahead and delete the sphere, and we'll just focus mostly on this ring. So we'll look at the metals first. We'll put polished yellow metal on there, and we'll apply that also to the other pieces. If you group pieces together, when you apply the material, they'll all get that material at once. So I'm going to apply it to here, and now all of it gets that. Okay, we'll put, so right now we're in rendered mode. We'll put not the realistic, but the stylized gems in there. There, that happened again. We'll go back. So stylized diamond, we'll put that on these little accent gems. Okay, and we'll put stylized ruby on the big center stone. All right. So like I said, this is rendered mode, and even though it's called rendered, it's a very stylized kind of rendering anyway. And while we're here, we'll show you ray traced. Okay, so we'll click on here and click on ray traced. So ray traced is a realistic rendering effect, and my stylized gems do not work well in ray traced. Okay, now ray trace is also much harder on my computer. I'm going to go ahead and get back into rendered. So if we apply the realistic materials to the gems, okay, so the realistic ruby and the realistic diamond, right, and we go into, you see that they disappear in rendered. So my realistic gem materials don't work well in rendered mode, but they do work well in ray traced. Okay, I'm going to go back to rendered. So you can use the realistic gem materials in ray traced. You can also use them for actual renders. Okay, so we'll go ahead and render this. So remember, realistic gem materials are for ray traced and for actual renders. And then finally we have opaque gem materials, and I'll go ahead and bring in a cabochon. Those are mostly for the cabochons. So we'll bring in a cabochon, and we will apply the turquoise to that. So my cabochon gems are set up to accept the materials and already look pretty good. Okay, the way they get applied should already look correct. All right, I'll go ahead and add in the tiger's eye quartz so you can see that as well. Okay, so again, the opaque geomaterials, that's mostly going to be for cabochons. You can use it on faceted stones too, but you're mostly going to be using those on cabochons. And then we'll just take a quick look at the plastic materials. So we'll add in a plastic sapphire. And did we get the plastic diamonds? I don't think we did. So I'll go ahead and add in plastic diamonds. Okay, so it's a very stylized kind of rendering that probably most people are not going to use. It's just gem and metal materials that look like they're made out of plastic. All right, so if you're going for a non-realistic style, then you can use the plastic materials for that. Okay, and so that's an overview of the material loader and the materials that are included with it.